What's up, EDG family? Kevin here, and today I wanted to talk about one of my favorite gaming companies, Renegade Game Studios. I have done quite a few videos over the last year. Some of them have featured some of their games, so I wanted to talk about them. I know there's quite a few gaming companies I could easily talk about right now, but I felt like this one was probably the best one for at least me to start with. So I want to talk about that. I want to talk about how the games in my collection from Renegade, how I feel about them, and also I want to talk about some of the games I haven't picked up yet. You know, some of the games that maybe I've been hesitant to add to my collection, and maybe some of you out there that have played them can give me some insight. Leave me a comment. Definitely subscribe if you want to see more of these videos in the future, but I will grab some games and we'll talk about them. Alright, so I wanted to start this off chronologically. I want to talk about the first Renegade Game Studios game that I have played. And to be honest, I don't think they own this one anymore. I think Direwolf Digital now owns Clank. But at the time, they at least manufactured this. And this is Clank in Space. This is, I believe this is the sci-fi space version of Clank, if you've never played it. Something I might do a playthrough on at some point, but this is a deck building game. A deck building game where you're playing a thief, and you're playing cards, you're acquiring cards and resources as you're moving through a ship as you have a big boss that is trying to take you out. You're going to be making noise, which is what the Clank is. So you're going to be drawing cubes, taking damage when your cube comes out of the bag, but it's very fun. It's heisty, it's you know, it's got a lot of really cool elements. You know, you're moving, you're battling, you're taking out enemies. You know, there is a very cool app for this game that you can play it solo in. Gives you a little bit of adventure. So there's also you know, some different things you have to do to you know, get a better score when you're playing that. But I do really like Clank in Space. It is unfortunate, like I said, I think Direwolf Digital now owns this. So I did want to touch on that. I did want to say that, you know, at some point Renegade was involved with this game. And it is unfortunate that I do not think they are any longer involved. But Clank in Space, really like that one. Didn't want to spend too much time on that one because, like I said, I don't really know exactly how some of those licenses work. But, you know, definitely pick it up if you like deck builders. The next one I want to talk about was Flip Ships. Flip Ships, so I'm not necessarily sure who owns this one now because I didn't see it on at least Renegade's store. I'm sure you could probably still find this. I don't even think I probably got this directly from Renegade when I ordered it. But this is a cooperative dexterity game where you are taking out enemy ships. You're trying to take down the mothership before it destroys your city. And I like this one quite a bit. To be honest, this is probably one of my favorite Renegade games in my collection. I will say it's probably not going to be the most popular as far as I feel like, you know, the mainstream goes. Dexterity games I feel like do have, you know, sometimes they don't have the best rap. But I do like this one. I think this is one of those games that I could have probably bought an expansion for. I've played it quite a few times. I do enjoy it. I enjoy playing it solo, 2-player. I played it at 4-player. But I do like it. You're basically flipping ships, like I said, flipping ships, taking enemies out. They all kind of have a different stat that, you know, they'll either damage you, their movement's different. Some of them you have to hit twice. Some of them shield other enemies. But it is a very fun dexterity game. I would say other than like Slide Quest in my collection, I don't have any other cooperative dexterity games. So if you know of a couple, definitely send them away because, like I said, I really do like Flip Ships. This was the second Renegade games I got into my collection. And yeah, let me know what you think about this one. Alright, the next one's a big one. I mean, not necessarily this one, but I mean as far as everything else goes. And that is Power Rangers Heroes of the Grid. We have some coverage of, you know, this series. I do really like this game. I think it is accessible to teach people. I will say that I think as far as like the IP goes, I know not everybody is the biggest fan of Power Rangers, but if you're looking for a card dice game with miniatures, this is a very good one. I do think they did a really good job designing this one as far as kind of the variety and how each character plays. I got quite a bit of content, if you can't tell. I have picked up quite a few boxes of Heroes of the Grid content. I will like to mention that they do have a G.I. Joe version. I don't think they have a Transformers version. I think that there's just a deck builder for that one. And there's not My Little Ponies, but they do have quite a few IPs. They've, like I said, they brought G.I. Joe into this system, and I think it's been pretty well received. But they've also taken the Power Rangers IPs into other systems. They've made a deck builder. They've made a role-playing game. And I do have a little bit of interest in the deck builder. I do like deck builders, so that helps. But I will say, if you've played the deck builder, let me know what you think as far as how this one goes with that. Is it worth owning them both? I don't know. But it is something I've definitely kept my eye on. But yeah, Power Rangers Heroes of the Grid, huge series, tons of content, and they have taken the Power Rangers IP and just, like I said, given everybody a little bit of a piece of it. But yeah, I really do like this one. I would say probably out of all the ones that I've talked about and all the ones I will talk about, this is the highest rated in my collection, probably in the top 15. Played it quite a bit. That's Power Rangers Hero of the Grid. I definitely want to bring some more plays of that in the future as well. So we're coming down to the last couple, at least in my collection. Warp's Edge. I think this was a very well-received solo-only board game when it came out. I didn't back it on Kickstarter, but I did pick it up after, everybody's like, oh yeah, you want a solo game, you got to pick this up. And I do like it. It's one of 2 of the solo series games I own, so we'll talk about the next one next. But this is a bag building game. So kind of like a deck builder, but instead you are acquiring tokens, putting them in a bag and drawing them, and then you'll be assigning them to ships, taking damage, basically trying to destroy, I don't know if they call it a mothership, but it's definitely the boss ship. And I do like this. I think as far as the solo games I've played in this series, probably the one with the better rule book. But talk about the other one here in a second. Yeah, I will definitely say, if you're looking for a decent solo game, people have probably told you to pick this one up if you asked. It is quite good. I think I have a playthrough of this. I don't have any of the additional expansions for this. I do think I'm kind of good just with what I have in the core box. Yeah, Warp's Edge. This is also designed by Scott Almes. So if you're familiar with him, then the next one is also designed by Scott Almes. So this is the third game in the solo series, Recklin Run. This one came in, I think, late last year, 2022, early this year, 2023. This is a dice placement game. You're assigning them, doing damage, upgrading your car. Obviously, very Mad Maxy, post-apocalyptic car fighting game. A lot of variety in this, I will say. In the core box specifically, I don't even think I've got into the expansion yet. I do think there's a lot in this game. So as far as these two compare to each other, I would say Warp's Edge, probably the tighter game. This one, probably the most playability, I think, at least. As far as playing through the missions with different cars, I think there's 7 different bosses to fight in just the base game. So I'll say there is that. You're opening new content as you go. Kind of keeps everything separate componently as far as the different mechanics go for different bosses. But I really, really do like this one. I have not finished it yet. I will eventually finish it. I do like it. So Recklin Run, I think this is, like I said, the third one in the Solo Hero series from Renegade Games. But yeah, I do like it quite a bit. So, that said, I think Renegade Games does great. I think they have a good variety of stuff. And we haven't even really talked about what else they have, what else they're known for. Obviously, I've talked about, they have the Power Rangers IP. They have a, miniatures game. They have a deck building game. They have an RPG. They acquired, they got the G.I. Joe IP. I think, like I said, I think it is a role-playing game and a miniatures game. Not specifically sure. I also think they have the deck building game for that. They have the Transformers deck building game. They do this for that. As far as the miniatures game, I think there'll be a lot of people that pick that up. And then they even grabbed, more kid-friendly IPs. Not saying that that's not kid-friendly. But My Little Pony. They have a RPG and a deck building game for that as well. I've thought about it, but I also think my daughter's kind of maybe a little past that she does play Power Rangers quite a bit with me. So they do have those, and then they have quite a few other games that we should talk about. So some of the bigger ones that I have not played, and so I'm definitely gonna be asking your guys' opinion on these as far as where you would start. Architects of the Western Kingdom, very well received game. Lots of people like it. Paladins of the West Kingdom, also well received games. A lot of people like it. Raiders of the North Sea. All these are very, like I said, all these are very well-known board games, I feel like. And then I think the more recent one is Viscounts of the West Kingdom. So you have experience with any of those, definitely point me in the right direction, where you would start, and maybe where you would just say, hey, this is probably what you just need to pick up. To get a feel for those type of games, like I said, I have not played them. I have watched some videos on them, but I know they're also very well liked. And then the next couple, Circadian's First Light. I just saw that one as I was putting this video together. It's a science fiction engine building comboing game. Looks very intriguing. If you played that one, let me know. I like I said, I think that was one that definitely popped out quite a bit when I saw it on the Renegade store. The other one is Hadrian's Wall. This one came out a couple years ago, I think. At least I think it was very about the time Roll and Rights had really became popular. I think this one came out about a year after that. It's a flip and write, and it's in like the Roman Empire era. Very well received. Like I said, I remember a lot of people on the board game, the solo group specifically, really, really liking Hadrian's Wall. And then the other one in the Solo Hero series, Proving Grounds. It's a gladiator style game. I don't know too much more about the system. I think a lot of the reason I was kind of holding off on that one was because there's a gladiator style game by another gaming company that has a solo. I think it's solo only as well. So, you know what I'm talking about. That's obviously going to be Hoplomachus Victorum. But yeah, so very good experience with the Renegade games. I like what they're doing. I like that they have, more, gamers games. I like they're grabbing some of these IPs and making very good games out of them. Like I said, I do really like Heroes of the Grid. And then I like some of the other stuff they're doing as well. So, yeah. Renegade Game Studios. Like I said, in my opinion, one of the best gaming companies that I have had experience with as far as their games go. Customer service, always been very good. I've had to get a couple things from them over the years, but I obviously have a lot of these Power Ranger things have either came from a Kickstarter from them or a pre-order platform. Not very many of the stuff has been out long enough for me to be able to go grab it from like a third-party retailer or whatnot, but like I said, very good. Let me know what you guys think about Renegade as far as, your experience with them goes. What games would you recommend? Ones that I didn't touch, they have a lot. I mean, I could have easily touched on probably twice as many games as I did. Very impressive lineup. Like I said, it's crazy because, Clank at one point was, associated with them. Now, obviously, more Direwolf Digital. And we'll probably talk about them maybe in the coming years. I don't feel like they have quite enough of a library, at least in my collection, for me to talk about them. But what other game companies would you kind of like to know my opinion on? Obviously, we have quite a few represented up there. Chip Theory's probably going to be high up on the list. IV's getting close. IV games. CMON not too crazy on. Got a couple things. But yeah. Let me know what you guys think. Subscribe, like I said. If you want to see more stuff like this, definitely let me know. Maybe point me in the right direction on, some of these games. We'll get more content out on those. And I will see you guys all in the next one. Much love.